Welcome back to the show. Here to discuss sex and relationships is sexologist Dr. Limor Blockman. Thanks so much for being here, Limor.
Pleasure, my dear. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really curious about what you have today. We're talking about the elusive teenager and all the issues surrounding this age.
Yeah, it's very difficult, as we both recall.
Difficult.
You know, it's a very challenging age. And now today, in this day and age, we're dealing with a lot of things that we didn't, you know, in the prior generation. So it's really difficult. And what I'm talking about is really sexting, the exposure to pornography, the whole idea about, you know, the teenage mind. How do you deal with this whole thing? So let me just give you a few pieces of data in regards to that. So 15 to 20% of children, I call it children because it ranges from 4th grade to 11th grade, that actually said that they received a sext that carried a picture, a nude picture of someone, and 15 to 20% responded with forwarding it. So that's a really big problem that is flooding. Yeah, flooding
and
teenagers.
You see kids, very unfortunately, committing suicide.
Of course.
Over bullying with sex that got into the wrong hands.
It's very true.
It's an epidemic.
It's an epidemic, and there are ways to deal with it. I just want to also mention that pornography, exposure to pornography and consumption of it, again, 4th to 11th grade. We're talking 4th grade.
Wow.
Yes, we're talking 16% consumption.
So young.
11th grade, 40%. It's huge. And there are a lot of implications and a lot of ramifications that come with this.
Yeah, but this is mainly due to technology because things are just so readily available these days.
Right, and there are, as I said, things to do, and I'm going to suggest a few things. What I want to say that it hinders a lot of different, you know, areas of our lives. One of which is really our brain. You know, in this research, they took 64 subjects and exposed them to explicit materials and got them into an MRI. What they found is that the gray matter, which I want to say that men have less than women, so you need to keep everything out.
Good point, Limor.
But actually, gray matter was reduced. What really influences appetite, motivation, and some connectivity in the brain between different regions actually affects decision making. So that can really create poor sexual choices, sexual violence, other things like that. Other things that are really inflicting this society, this young society, could be erectile dysfunction that is a result of pornography. Can you imagine young kids?
That?
Yes. How can it affect it? It really actually creates, like in any addiction, and I want to say addiction is addiction. It doesn't really matter if it is for a substance or a behavior. So if we consume a lot, the fix that used to work for us doesn't work anymore, and we need more. Actually, places in the brain that used to light up in response to stimuli or response to some form of you know, arousal don't work anymore, and we need to consume more. So that is a big problem. And we're getting to it's an addiction. It is what it is. And then we're getting to the point that you made in the beginning, which is really the effect that teenage girls have to suffer from. So a lot of girls that were asked in different studies and different surveys said that they felt like service stations, that they used sex as currency, as tokens for affection. So what do you do with it? It's very painful. And things like, if you give me oral sex, I'm going to speak to you at lunch break.
Oh, man.
This severity. What I'm saying, really, first and foremost, talk to your teenagers about it. Confront them about this, because this exists. I spoke to a few women just on the way here, and they told me, oh no, my kid doesn't do anything with closed doors, but he has a phone.
Come on.
And the phone has internet.
On.
Yeah, you know, these things.
Wake up. Teenagers are experts at sneaking around.
Of course.
And, you know,
you need to keep in mind,
they need space to explore in their lives, but how much space do you give them?
Absolutely. So just pay attention, know that they're doing it. Sex education in middle schools and up, that's a necessity. And I want to say for girls specifically, there need to be some attention in terms of creating these gatherings in homes, in schools. It doesn't matter if the PTA, for instance, is more interested in arranging baking, you know, competitions. It's not right. You have to really address this and take care of these girls, because that can apply to low self-esteem, but really self-harming thoughts. And we do not need this. So just keep things in mind that things are happening. You just have to address it.
Yeah, I see. That's really good advice. And also communication.
Yeah,
communication
absolutely, always. Just
key.
open the communication between you and your child.
Yes, certainly. Limor, thanks so much
My pleasure.
for this.